Alright, hey nerds, before we begin, this will be spoiler talk, so if you are adverse to knowing anything about what's coming before the heroes come out, I strongly suggest you look away. So, go ahead, look away if you don't want to. And, again, we do need to give a shout out to our good friends over at Game Press who continue to strive and do all of this data mining. Thank you, Naz, Kaz, Gary, Zanuck, who, of course, we're going to be seeing a bit of in a second, because we're going to be going over stats. Check out all the links in the descriptions for them, as well as our Gleam contest. You know, $200, $4 $50 gift cards, all that fun stuff. Anyways, let's enough about that. Let's start off with what we got here. Okay, so we're going to be going over the characters, the new character stats. That means all of them. That includes Sias, by the way, as well as Finn, who is on the right side. There's their level 1 stats, in case you ever wanted to know what was going on. As you can see, there's Finn as well. You can get a basic idea of how every character is going to function, but what we're really here is to look at the level 40 stats, because honestly, that is what matters. So, let's take a look at Sias real quick, just because we can when it comes to stats, and I will say, he does remind me a lot of Arvis, which makes sense, and, I mean, all in all, the one thing that we do need to talk about with Sias as well is that he does come with a set of skills, as always, and in this one he comes with his own tome. I almost said tome, don't know why. That would be War God's Tome. Functions very similar to how Arvis's functioned. And then also comes with Glacies, Escape Route, and Speed Ploy. So for those who are wondering how good he's going to be, he seems solid enough. Has good enough speed, very similar to Arvis. Honestly, I think he's like one stat off in almost every category, so outside of health at least. I will say this though, that Reinhard looks like he is going to be, oh god. So with that amount of attack and that amount of defense and resistance, he's actually going to be somewhat pesky to at least deal with, unless you don't, if you're using anything other than a blue unit, of course. But yeah, that means that he can at least take a hit and actually double with his weapon, which, by the way, is a brave weapon that is effective on any phase. So therefore, he's going to be very strong. Honestly, that's pretty much what I imagine would happen. This is nightmare scenario. I'm kidding, but 35 attack with that blade is pretty strong. Also, of course, when it comes to IVs, I would assume that you just want to throw it down the speed when it comes to Bane, because that 23 speed is not going to be helping him in any way. So, best of luck out there, our good friend Reinhardt. From there, let's talk about Olwen. Now, the thing about Olwen is that I was worried that she wasn't going to hit the speed tier. I was worried that she was going to be like stuck at like 30 speed. Thankfully, she's not anywhere near that. She is at 35 speed, which is pretty much essential for a Blade Tome unit, especially one on a horse that can really function. And even better, outside of being on a Cavalier team, she could be used pretty well. It's just basically, here's a Blade Tome without any problems. Not only that, but she has a natural speed of 35, which is great. Her attack is 30, which is not bad. Of course, her defense and resistance, especially her defense, are kind of but she's meant to be a unit that goes in and blows a unit up. So it's I can't believe Nino's on a horse now. Anyways, then we have Leaf, and the one thing I want to point out about Leaf right here, okay? He has a lot more speed than I thought he would, especially wearing that armor. And that is really, really quite good for him. 38 speed naturally is insanely high. 32 attack is not bad at all. He, of course, has his own blade, where if the foe's defense is a little bit higher than the res, he gets a little bit more damage. It's nothing too amazing, but it will do pretty well. Defense and resistance are okay. Resistance, of course, being the weakest of them all, but that's pretty much a gimme. So, yeah. Alright, so let's move on to the next one. Now, this is the one that I hate to say I'm disappointed in. I'm not really disappointed in, Nana after looking over her stats, so to speak, but I will say that, she reminds me a lot of Clarine. which is not a bad thing. Clarine can be a really powerful staff unit if you do build her, especially in a horse team, which luckily Nana technically can be. Not only that, her stats are a little bit better than Clarane's, so therefore she could probably run it a little bit better. 34 speed is pretty good too, and well, if you want a solid, you know, troubadour, which is I guess essentially what she is, then you will probably want to try out Nana. I hopefully, maybe, we'll see. One thing is, of course, she's a little bit awkward, and her abilities maybe swap out Absorb. I don't know, that's just me. Anyways, from there, of course, we're going to take a look at the last character. Now, with Finn has, of course, when he comes out, he will have Brave Lance Plus, Miracle, Attack Defense 2, and Goad Cavalier. Good lord, why can't I talk today? Cavalier. Goad Cavalier. You know, cavalry. Whatever you want to call it. I don't know why I can't talk today. But anyways, when it comes to Finn, he has a decent stat line as well. He's pretty solid. You know, of course, his res isn't going to help him, but his attack at 34, his speed is 33. Nothing too bad, but remember, that's without the Brave Lance on it. You may want to see what else is going on there. He has a pretty solid stat line. Nothing too amazing, but it at least is not another Tobin when it comes to Tempest Trials. I'm kidding, Tobin fans. Don't hurt me, okay? But, well, there's all the characters you can possibly look at when it comes to this. We, of course, have a lot of new quests as well that are coming, and it's going to be a pretty fun one. Also, just as a note, because people keep asking me, S-Drink is not inheritable, okay? It's not gonna be inheritable. That, of course, is Leaf's ability. Whenever there's that ring around the ability, usually that means that it's a special ability for that unit only, or at least one that doesn't, you know, require too much setup. From there, though, we have a lot going on. We have a lot to talk about coming out in the future. Eventually, we'll probably know what the seals are that are coming from Tempest Trials, but there are your stats for your characters, guys. So, which one are you rolling for? How do you feel about Finn and Sias? But more importantly, these four right here in the middle are going to be a part of the new banner, and Reinhardt's looking kind of scary at times. Granted, 23 speed's not going to help him too much unless he, you know, especially if he gets doubled by some powerful characters, but Olwen's just basically made to be a unit for, honestly, I think a lot of occasions, because her tome is just basically a blade tome without any detriment, and a little bit, you know, more... God, that's terrifying. Can't believe she gets Thunderhead. Good lord. Leaf looks great. Nana, I'm pleasantly surprised with her stats, at least, and she'll be at least a really good troubadour, cavalier healer. So, all in all, pretty happy with everything. Thank you again to our data miners who continue to provide such amazing content. Go check them out in the description. See you nerds later. Bye.